So I never knew you worked at Kinross. When was that?
That was 1990.
Flip. Okay.
I played rugby for them as well.
Yeah, I didn't play rugby for them, but I was also there. But that would have been 1998. But I was much older than you. Obviously, I still am much older.
You're still older than me. Okay.
Yeah. And with that came wisdom, clearly. And I mean, so.
I thought you were the Peter Pan of South African mining.
I don't know what Peter Pan did. Is he a criminal? So, Jason, if I had to summarize, you move fast, you get quickly to cash flow, you've got high grade, you don't talk about size of ore bodies, I'm missing it, but doesn't it matter? A lot of your tenement seems to be 7 years, etc., etc. That's not the conventional story is 20-year life. You have to look at the NPV. You play a cash generation, quick to cash flow game, or am I?
It's a quick to cash flow game. But what it is as well, when we get involved with these licenses, it's an initial 7 years, such as in Tanzania. The ability to then renew, not once, but twice. So
the 7 years is not a drop dead date, it's a starting term.
Absolutely.
You spoke, I think you said you like to partner with locals, especially perhaps if they stumbled. But talk to us about South Africa and partnership. How do you see that play out? Are you one of Musa's customers? Are you talking to, just give us a South African context to the partnership model that you pursue.
We've worked at the community levels. We've certainly up at Blesberg. We've established and we've worked with them to establish the community trusts. We've worked with them to get them involved, not just as shareholders in that entity, but actually as service providers there. It's not just about having that interest. You've got to be involved actively on a day-to-day basis. So working with partners, it's not just about having them as a shareholder. It's about getting them actively involved in doing something within the business. Not just sitting around the board table, but actually there providing, we were looking at it from, one of the contractors to do the crushing, to do the screening. Actually get them involved so they're growing a business.
I want to put specific questions to quickly from Tawfiq. Are there considerations for lithium beneficiation, i.e. production of lithium carbonate and direct extraction from the mica?
We announced that about 6 months ago. So we're working with some of our processing consultants now with a view of building a carbonate plant up there. We have the funding already secured through one of the related funds through Quinton. So that investment will be coming committed at the end of July. So in the second half of this year, that's our focus. A lot of the value is sitting there in the fines. You've got a lot of the beryl, you've got a lot of the tantalite there. The lithium in particular, there's no value in selling a 6% concentrate. Let's be honest, you're transporting more waste than you are product. So you've got to do that. You've got to do that. We're in discussions as well with one of the energy companies about building a regional solar station up there. One of the other companies I'm involved in is a uranium company called Neo Energy Metals, about 30 k's down the road at the old Hencrease uranium project, an old Anglo project. So we're looking at a central solar power station there, which could be available to fund both operations.
So there's a comment, it's from Anonymous, and I think it may be a question. No mineral resources / reserve or DFS studies.
We've got the competent persons resource report coming out on Blesberg in the middle of June. We have the resource work coming out on Canusi, which is the copper. That'll be coming out in September. We've already got the rough numbers. You look at Blesberg, the amount of work which has been done there historically. That Numis 1 pegmatite is already, 8 to 10 million tons.
But of course you could do it this way around because you were adequately funded to get started. And you get to cash flow. And
most juniors have to come out and do that phased approach. Get a pre-feas, get a scoping study, get a feasibility study. Because they need to get funding on the back of that. Very early on, so in November of 2022, we secured all the necessary funding to push these projects forward. available to us in various tranches when we deliver on milestones. So we're not, like I said, we're not like many other juniors where you're looking over your shoulders or you're thinking, okay, God forbid, I need to drill a director's hole over there. No, you can just go in a straight line. So you're doing it from I guess, the technical way it should be done. You know, like a lot of the major mining houses here used to do it. You know, they had the funding behind them, so they could go in a straight line. A lot of juniors, you've seen it. You know, they're either treading water half the time, they're waiting for the markets to turn, you know, or they've got to go out there and give up so much value to get to that next phase of work. For us, again, we're doing all the study work. Don't get me wrong, the amount of due diligence work which we've done with Quinton's teams, with funds out of the Middle East, we've done that work. But again, we're not having to put it out there from a perspective of getting some highlights to then attract some brokers to get the share price up 10, 20% and then secure a couple of $1 million worth of funding.
But now you're not a geologist, you're a mining engineer. So what is it that you brought, what skill that you brought to this contribute?
I'm an ex-mining engineer. These hands haven't got too dirty too often. Ex-investment banker with Investec and Rothschilds. Fund manager looking at it from the equity side of the balance sheet. And I've been on this junior corporate side now for the past 10 years. So you're covering all angles there. I mean, I've seen many geologists become managing directors and CEO that don't have that experience in the capital markets. And then they're beholden to the whims of brokers that can run rings around them. So, no, all I've brought is I guess an energy to basically, let's get these things going. We don't have to go through that traditional route of 3, 4, 5 years of doing all this study work. We can actually make it go quicker. And I think that's where you create much more value.
Every time I listen to Jason, I think, thank God I'm too old. Because it's like this Energizer bunny that is just all over the place, and don't follow him on Twitter. You get tired from just seeing in which countries and what new ore body is starting. It's tiring me online, never mind. But the reason I like this conversation and having it here is there are so many models to enter mining. There's not only the BHP model or the this model or the that model. There's not only the conventional model. And there are different approaches. And I think this is, for better or worse, a very different approach and seemingly quite a successful approach. So that's why please come back next year. Another anonymous question. You guys are a bunch of wuzzers. I mean, you know, you make me say these things. Do you prefer places that are sparsely populated? I mean, there are some advantages to where Blesberg is. I'm just saying Blesberg because from last year to this year you've improved, eh? But I'm helping you with the. So Blesberg. There are some advantages to where it is. No?
There are a lot of advantages.
Yes.
There's no question about it. Advantages of working in a region which has such a strong mining history, okay, which does still have great infrastructure, great geological endowment. Working in there, no, we're working in places in Tanzania, in Kenya, which are heavily populated.
Are they?
So the challenges you face, they're all unique, but and they come with different challenges. I mean, seriously, getting water up there at, how do you say that? Bladensburg.
That's okay, don't worry.
Don't
mock me. I can't speak English, you don't speak Afrikaans, it's fair.
We had that South African cricketer, Labuschagne.
No, he wasn't Labuschagne when we kicked him
when he
out,
left,
though.
okay. No, look, I think...
When he wasn't good enough for us, he was Labuschagne.
Okay. No, look, I actually enjoy working in those sort of places. They're amazing places to go and visit. And the impact that you can have in developing a mine there, on the communities, on being able to just move forward. You know, I've got nothing wrong with the communities, with greenies, as we used to call them many years ago, and so on. That's a process you go through. But if you can see a clear pathway, you know, you don't stop at too many obstacles. You can push your way through.
So, I mean, you knew about this conference for weeks, and you missed your announcement. So that's the first failure I chalk up against.
Don't blame me. It's the other counterparty.
You had the whole bloody year to get your announcement.
We met on Sunday morning for breakfast to try and finalise. I was that driven by it.
Ladies, gentlemen, as always, a very interesting update. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
See you next year.